Well, good evening. 2 days in a row for Jennifer Hines and Sandy Shellis.
That's
Look
right.
at that. Look at that. I am
Part 1 and
really
part
happy.
2.
Yeah, part two, because there was no way we were going to. Well, first of all, there was no way I was going to be able to park my ass for 2 hours last night. I felt like, no, that wasn't going to work. Welcome, Jen. How's things
Hi.
going there?
Oh, not too much different from yesterday, but I'm very excited about this part 2 because it's one of my favorite subjects, the
Of course.
Arctic and studying all aspects of it. So, in mid-December, the Arctic report card came out, and that is from NOAA.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a 4-minute video, very beautiful actually, that we're going
Mm-hmm.
to play shortly. That's going to sum up the aspects of the Arctic report card. And then Sandy is going to take it away with an article from the Barents Observer, one of our favorite periodicals.
Oh, yes, sure is.
Mm-hmm. Gazprom's new pipeline across the Gulf of Ob stirs environmental concern. A new underwater pipeline connection across the Great Arctic Bay opens for untapping of major natural gas resources in the Yamal Peninsula. Sandy, I already think this is going to get our toilet flush of the day.
Okay. I'm sure it is. I'm sure it's going to get the toilet flush before I get the second paragraph in.
Yeah, no kidding, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Horrible.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Then we have a whole new suite of um, Arctic sea ice figures from Zach Labe. We all
Mm-hmm.
love Zach Labe, so we're going to take a deep dive into the data and how the data paints the picture in a very kind of holographic way. So we'll talk about that.
Okay.
And then we're going to run over to the Arctic News blog spot. Last December, they put out an article, Terrifying Arctic Methane Levels. So then we'll
Terrifying.
talk about that.
Yeah. Well, they're coming. What is it? What happens in the Arctic doesn't stay in the Arctic? Was that
No
a
kidding.
Paul Beckwith original one? Because I don't know, but he was on
I think
Twitter
we, no,
today.
you know what I seriously think is, I think
What?
we all thought of it at the same time. I think it was one of those synchronistic things when a bunch of people kind of
Okay.
all grok that idea
Yeah,
because
because
everybody started saying it at the same time. And
what happens in
I
the
don't know.
Arctic
I know
doesn't
Paul
stay in
says
the.
it a lot. I say it.
Yeah.
Other people say it as well. So,
Well, he was on Twitter today saying that everybody is now, like mainstream media, is using he coined it, weather whiplash. He said he was the
oh,
one to coin it.
maybe he
And now
did, you know.
everybody, yeah, he was on Twitter saying that. And you know, I love Paul like so much. I love when he comes on. He's just so wonderful. Um, Anyway, shout out to you, Paul. We love you.
Yes,
All right. So
absolutely. Oh, the other thing before we
yes,
move
ma'am.
on is
Oh,
he
yes, ma'am.
came up with his climate casino, which
Yes, he
everybody's
did.
is using climate casino now, but
And
I
it
think he
is.
came up with that.
I talk about it as not climate casino. I say that everything that we do, everything is like gambling. Every
Mhm.
single thing is gambling, but it is what it is. Oh, and I hate
Yeah.
to say that. We have a lot of people with us. I suppose I should say hi to everybody really quick before we get started. Kim, thank you for moderating. And Hunter, thank you for moderating. And Kameshwari, Kate, I love you guys. Thank you for moderating. And Kay's with us. And John Schmidt and Human. We love Human. And Groot. Hello, Groot, all the way from the left coast. And truly aghast. Of course, I always say that's my favorite name on the planet. Truly aghast. Trulia. And Chicken Patty. Hi, sweetheart. It's great. And Rich Diana. How could I forget about you? And hi, Ariel's with us. Yay. Okay. Dragon
Good,
Tarot
I'm so
area.
glad.
Yes.
I'm so glad. I have a
Hello.
secret crush on Ariel. I
Yeah.
really
Well,
do.
we both
I
do.
feel
And we're
like
going
I'm a soul sister with her.
well, we're going to have her on the show, guys, and she's going to read our tarot on live. So if it's horrible, oh well. Okay, so anyway, yeah, she says happy 22. Okay, and oh wait, Thunder Bay is here. Lightning Rod is with us, so it's great. And Jeremy, I love you so much. I can't wait to see you, Jeremy. Jeremy is lives on the other side of the county, so I mean of the not far from me. Jeremy is a very smart guy. And Max Sarge. All right, so now that we've gone through, and Dwayne Custer, the regular, and Christopher Spavins from Pecton, Ontario is with us. This is just so awesome. And, it's just, I guess I'm feeling a little bit of gratitude today being here, just having this, Jennifer, because I was completely miserable 15 minutes ago. And now, just seeing all of you guys just made me feel better. Thank you. And you, Jennifer, of course. She's singing to me. She was singing to me in the beginning.
Do you want to tell them what I was singing to you?
She was singing, "You are so beautiful to me." Now, why don't you do it?
Cheering her up.
You sounded great.
Oh, no.
Shit, if we did it together, we probably could be, actually, pretty good. Hi, James McKenna. Welcome. All right, look, the gang is all here. So I'll start with this video. Hopefully I have it queued up correctly. There's always some kind of stupid thing. But here we go. Love you guys. We're going to the video. All right, let's go.
The Arctic, an ancient ecosystem, is disappearing before our eyes. Disruptive heat-related impacts driven by unrelenting human-caused climate change are happening throughout the polar north. In Siberia, unusually warm air temperatures led to early snow and sea ice melt, followed by another active wildfire season. Rain was seen for the first time on the 10,000-foot summit of the Greenland ice cap. Destructive geological forces unleashed by thawing permafrost and melting land ice are an increasing threat to the homes and livelihoods of Arctic residents. These changes are not isolated. Each one can have a cascading effect, some amplifying warming and further accelerating climate change. Arctic sea ice has been in a decades-long decline. Older, thicker sea ice that once covered the central Arctic Ocean is now almost entirely gone. This has enabled shipping and other industrial activities to push deeper into the Arctic year-round, resulting in more pollution and more noise in the ocean. During winter in the Bering Sea, the vocalizations marine mammals use to hunt and communicate create an almost rainforest-like soundscape. Shipping noise can drown out these calls, potentially driving marine mammals away from their preferred habitat and raising concern for the food security of indigenous hunters and their families. Increased shipping in the Arctic is leading to more fishing nets, plastics, garbage, and hazardous materials lost or illegally discarded into the ocean. Alaska Native communities reported many miles of their once pristine beaches and harvesting sites fouled by garbage. The Arctic is becoming greener. Tundra vegetation is flourishing, and shrubs and small trees are spreading into new territory. Iconic Arctic animals are losing habitat, while new species are moving in and changing ecosystems. In Alaska, exploding beaver populations are transforming the tundra. More than 12,000 dams are clogging streams, flooding surrounding terrain, and facilitating the invasion of more new species. New ponds cause underlying permafrost to thaw and release more greenhouse gases to the atmosphere. Thawing of permafrost and melting glacial ice also creates special hazards for northern residents, ranging from crumbling homes and infrastructure to to extraordinarily dangerous geological events like glacial outburst floods and avalanche-triggered tsunamis. With continued warming, identifying and assessing these hazards is just one of many urgent tasks facing Arctic scientists today. All these disruptions are the direct results of a climate straining under the heat-trapping burden of greenhouse gas pollution. The time to face this monumental challenge is now.
I'm playing the whole thing so as not to have an issue. Right, guys? Okay. So there you go. That was good. And you know, when I first saw that, Jen, I was so surprised about the beavers. You know,
I
it
know.
was really wild.
It's like a beaver apocalypse.
Well, kind of. You know, and you don't think, because here we're trying so hard to you know, to have beavers in their natural habitat and not get rid of them, and they're going up there and it's becoming a problem. Oh,
Yeah.
yes. Okay, Ariel. The exploding beaver population. Yes, sweetheart. Oh, we have to do that one. Has to get applause. We're starting early, huh? Oh, geez. Yeah, and Rick says, interesting that new species are just showing up, but not necessarily good. You know, not necessarily a good thing. But we will talk about all this. Jennifer, did you have a comment, since I just blabbed right over you?
No, you didn't at all. And it's just fine in any case. The beaver thing, there's 12,000 beaver dams and it's flooding all the permafrost. And it says the permafrost is going to melt like that much faster now.
Everybody's
What?
having way too much fun with the beavers.
Oh God, you know,
Well,
I
you
just
know, we
innocently
all
went
are.
right into that, didn't I? I didn't even see what I was saying.
We are all very much adults here. All right. Well, let's. I'm sorry, guys. You know, actually, I do feel better. Holy crap. I mean, I was in a shit ass mood. All right. We're going to start. We're going to start off. Well, this one's going to put me back in a shit ass mood. I can tell you right now. Because I, being the pipeline activist that I was, this honestly really, this pisses me right the fuck off. Sorry, I'm starting off with the F's. Oh well, they're only on YouTube. So here we are, Gazprom's new pipeline across the Gulf of Ob, if that's how they say it, Ob, stirs environmental concern. Of course it does. A new underwater pipeline connection across the Great Arctic Bay opens for untapping of major natural gas resources in the Yamal Peninsula. Local groups fear it will lead to the destruction of vulnerable ecosystems.
Everyone. Good morning. My name is Rebecca Dezambek, and I
Where's that
am
from?
happy to kick off our first press conference this morning.
Oh,
first
wait a
press event
second.
of EGU's.
I don't know if you could hear that, but
Oh yeah.
that was YouTube still on. Sorry. Oh, here, guys, if anybody wants to send me an app mini, that would be great. Okay. Anyway, that's why the ads come up. I hate that these ads come up, but you know what I was looking at, I guess. All right. So actually, it's not just local groups. I mean, pipelines are pipelines and pipelines, but this is a hideous pipeline. And just like the pipeline, the line 3 that is going under the straits, that is not in line 5 up in Mackinac. I mean, it's awful. They're all awful, but all of it is. There was a big celebration among the oil men of Gazprom Neft as the company on the 8th of December officially launched its new 115.5 kilometers long pipeline across the Gulf of Ob. Isn't that awful? It's just awful. And I can't get over it. I keep thinking about all the things that can happen. The pipeline will be able to carry 20 billion. Now that's a lot. 20 billion cubic. What is it? Cubic meters of gas per year, and it's a key part of Gazprom Neft's big project, branded as the Yamal gas. The company, which is an oil subsidiary of Gazprom, has invested 150 billion rubles, which is 1.8 billion in what is that, EU? So how much is that in American dollars? Who knows? Like a ridiculous amount of money. The Yamal gas project also includes the building of a processing plant that ultimately will produce up to 15 billion cubic meters of dry stripped gas, 1 million tons of gas condensate, and 710,000 tons of natural gas liquids per year, the company informs. What, right until extinction, Jen? The project is closely connected with the development of the Novi port, the oil and gas field in the Yamal Peninsula. So from before, Gazprom Neft has invested heavily in local infrastructure, including the Arctic Gate Terminal, a fleet of 7 ice-class oil tankers, and 2 powerful icebreakers. And actually, Jennifer, there is another article in this issue that does go over the icebreaker that made its way. I mean, it's pretty interesting. Yeah, it'll all be in the show notes, guys, if you want. This is such a great publication. So they more than 6 million tons of oil is now annually shipped out from the Arctic Gate Terminal through the icy waters of the Ob Bay to the world market. But the Novi port and its adjacent fields hold not only oil, but also major volumes of natural gas. So according to CEO Alexander Dukov, I would like to say Dunkov. The new gas pipeline will be of big importance for the development of several more fields. And it is to be developed in an environmentally friendly way, he underlined.
Oh, yay. I'm just so relieved.
Sorry, but that one, the environmentally friendly way, okay, definitely. There we go. And you were right. You were right. That's toilet flusher. And that is the bullshit environmental coffee house flush of the day for that one. For us, the protection of the unique Arctic ecosystem is a task of top priority when developing all projects in this region, he says in a comment, and adds that the new pipeline has been laid away from the wintering grounds of local fish stocks and at 5-meter depths under the seabed. However, indigenous groups in the area, they're not convinced about the assurances from the company. According to locals, the major dredging operations in the area might have harmed the marine ecosystem of that shallow bay. Many local fishermen have already reported a decrease in their catch. Several local villages now fear that they will be deprived of their main livelihood, and you know they will. Nobody gives a shit. The indigenous people in the Yamal Peninsula depend on reindeer husbandry and fisheries. I'm already subscribed. Stop it. That new Yamal gas pipeline is only one of many new industrial projects in the far northern region. The companies Novatek and Gazprom Neft have all developed fields and built infrastructure across the vulnerable tundra lands. Several researchers have voiced concern about that development. Among them are Vladimir Bogdanov from the Ural Institute of Ecology of Flora and Fauna. In a comment to newspaper Vravda, URFO, he explains that parts of the Ob Bay must remain untouched by the energy companies if valuable fish stocks are to be preserved. He especially points at waters around Cape Trekberny an area where fresh waters from the Taz Bay flows into the Ob Bay. If dredging is conducted in this area, it will be the end to the so-called semi-anadromous fish stocks in the area. Wow. It means death for the semi-anadromous stocks of the Ob. Neither the sturgeon, whitefish, smelt, nor freshwater cod, there'll be no more. The precious kinds of fish in the Ob will vanish. It will be a huge loss. Oh, now I'm going to cry. Which actually cannot be restored. The ecosystem will be completely changed. Now, over the last few years, many millions of tons of sea bottom have been removed as part of the development of regional projects, Yamal, Arctic, and the Novi Port. Now, I'm going to make a couple of comments. And then, Jennifer, I would like if you want to make a couple of comments on this one. First of all, that last statement, about the death of the fish, it's not just the fish. I'm wondering if they're censored to be able to say things like, well, how do you think this is going to work with burning fossil fuels? If we continue burning fossil fuels, there's that, we continue, we're just going to then what? Burn ourselves out, right? To extinction.
Yeah.
And so they're not stopping. And a thought that went through my mind was everybody in the United States was all up in arms because Joe Biden is opening all that to the Gulf, all that drilling in the Gulf. Well, I had a thought. When you look at all that drilling going on in Russia, I'm wondering if our imperialist country of the United States of America wants to keep up. Because why can they get ahead and then we don't keep our energy independence vis-a-vis fossil fuels? And the fossil fuel industry owns the business everywhere, every country. And I don't mean to be, I'm just saying it happened. It's happening. And the administration had whatever bullshit they wanted to say. But in my opinion, there is a keeping up with the Joneses thing going on here that no one talks about.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. And I don't see how they can do it in an ecological fashion. There's already too much trash. Very recently, the Arctic was a pristine region that, was not frequented. Now it's a major shipping route for China and everybody else.
It's terrible. It just really sucks.
And there's so much garbage and pollution and probably bilge dumping and all sorts of crap like that going straight into the Arctic. This pristine region that's under duress already.
And why they people call us doomers. What should we be? I mean, should we be like, okay, Vegematic, I know you're not here with us, but I've been using his term happily hopeless. I'm happy. I'm happily hopeless. And how can you read the stuff that we do and just, think that a goddamn Tesla is going to get us out of it? I mean, it's just ludicrous.
The same type of people who think we can go to Mars, establish a human colony and transfer life to Mars. I mean, it's like,
It's insanity. It's just like insanity. I mean, unless we get rid of, and people say, okay, we have to get rid of capitalism. Well, what are you going to do? Get rid of oligarchyism in Russia and all these other, economic systems all over the world that are not just like us? I mean, all right. I didn't mean to go this way. Like, it is an overwhelming task when you think about it. And I just say, okay, well, in the United States, it would be nice if the movie Don't Look Up, take all the money.
I saw it last night.
Oh, you finally saw
I
it?
want to give a big shout out to Dwayne Custer because I was reading through the chat comments and I saw he was recommending it, and I have Netflix, so I'm like, hell, I'm going to watch it.
Thank you, Dwayne. All right. Well, she watched it. The thing about that movie to me is that I made a comment on Twitter that if the actors made a video talking about the movie and why it's made. And I said, well, if you just give all your money, at least in the United States, to organizations that are trying to get money out of politics and for voting rights, right? Those two big things in the short term could actually help in our country to then maybe pay attention to what's going on. Because those are the two big issues, really, are voting rights and money in politics. If we overturn Citizens United, I know it's like too little too late. I know it's never going to happen, whatever. But those are the things I think about, because that is really the right way, at least, to make some difference here in this country. Because I don't know if anybody's ever going to get away from capitalism. You know, the kids are trying. They talk about it on a lot of channels, you know, they do. But it's not enough, people.
No, it's not. Yeah, we're in a predicament and we're dealing with it best we can. A lot of us deal with it with getting more knowledge and trying to understand it, you know. It's a way of dealing with it, you know.
Dwayne says, I guess we're going a little political. I read an article today at The Guardian, I believe, about a prediction that the U.S. will be a dictatorship by 2030. I'm never leaving my property. They'll come get me anyway.
Jeez.
They're going to come get us, Jennifer. No, I'm not that paranoid. I just know that.
I don't know. I just know there's so many apocalyptic movies out there. I've been watching a lot of them. I seem to be attracted to them.
You're not alone, baby.
Yeah. And either it's skewing my point of view, but I don't think they're wrong, really. No. I don't think they're wrong. These are dissolving before our very eyes.
I know. They are. And other countries, you know, Hungary with Viktor Orban, and Trump is throwing his support behind. He loves Bolsonaro, and we don't even know if he's running. It doesn't matter. We're just so screwed. Let me see what Jeremy says. Capitalism is just the catalyst. Industrialization is the root problem. Socialist industrialization would also be terrible. Any industrialization is terrible. That's the thing. The degrowth movement, and you know, I was with a bunch of MMTers the other night, which is wonderful. I feel and I understand. Hi, Mindy, talking about MMT. I really do understand that, you know, they're talking about living in the parameters of an economic system where they feel that there would be justice. And I don't know. You know, I don't want to put anybody down. I'm just of the idea here that we would have to have a radical takedown, but the whole planet would, everyone in every country. And then if they take away the internet, how would we even communicate with our friends all over that are in our chat right now? And I don't mean to do this, but it is like a dystopian movie, and I watch them too. I watch scary ones also. I watch they seem to be these scary movies, Jennifer, on Netflix. They seem to be all revolving around the teenagers, right? They all have teenagers. But that's the market. Who else is watching all those Netflix movies? Old people and teenagers. They come home. Everybody else is so goddamn busy working. Well, you're working. You're still working. So, and you're not an old person. Well, neither am I, but that all depends on the day of the week. All right. So anyway, we've had our commentary. Jennifer.
Yes. Well, I would like to run over to the Arctic sea ice figures from Zach Labe, and I'd like to go through them. And I think I'll watch your screen so we don't get out of sync.
Okay, let me make sure that I'm all the way at the top, and we are ready to go with his absolutely beautiful work. And take it away.
Nobody pictorializes data as well as Zach Labe. He's just amazing. He's a visionary, and data is beautiful, and I think it's holographic. I really do.
Beautiful. Yes, his data is beautiful. We should send him that. Tell him his
You
data
know,
is beautiful.
there's a if you ever want to master any topic whatsoever, the motto is know the data. And so we're
Yes.
just going to get down and dirty a little bit and get
All
to know
right.
the data.
Let's get to know the data. Well, go ahead and take it away, baby. It's your show.
All right. So the first thing we're taking a look at here is the Arctic sea ice extent. And of course, what we're really interested in is the trend. So this one, I believe it goes from 1979 to 2021, right? So that's a 42-year period, I believe.
Look at
So
yes.
over the past 42 years, you can really see the trend of what is going on in the Arctic sea ice extent. There are many factors that we take in when we look at the Arctic sea ice to make a full picture. The extent is one of those things. So let's go ahead and move on down.
Yes, ma'am. I am the screen
All right.
monitor.
Very good. So the Arctic amplification, you can see it's a little difficult for me. I think I'm going to have to go over to my one.
Well,
and
let's
take
see
a
if I
look
can
at
make
the
it really
Arctic.
big.
Let's see.
I can get us out of the way.
Okay. Yeah, get us out
Can
of
you
the
see
way.
it?
We don't really need to be there.
No,
Yeah.
we
So
could be teeny weeny.
we can
Okay,
go
go.
away.
Yeah.
We can go away entirely.
All right.
So the red one is the air temperature. So the air temperature is going up, and this is all for the same time period, right? We're looking at our 40-year time period. So in the past 40 years in the Arctic, the air temperature is consistently going up on the trend. The sea ice extent is consistently going down on the trend. You can see it's decreased a lot. And the sea surface temperatures are consistently going up. So this story can only have one conclusion. There is no stretch of the imagination here.
Nope.
Yeah. No.
All right. Did everybody see that properly? Could you see it properly? We're trying. All right, Jen, are we moving to the next one?
Yeah. Now I'll be with you. Okay. The Arctic climate.
Yeah.
So this is just kind of another drill down, just looking at two things, the air temperature in the Arctic and the sea ice extent, getting rid of the sea surface temperature. So you can see, and this is an anomaly, you can see, because 0 is the average, right? At least on the air temperature. So you can see it's going up and up and up, and the sea ice extent is going down and down and down. It's not, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to understand this. Next.
No, but I don't know. Do they even understand all this? They're making the rockets that are polluting the hell out of, they're making the rockets for Elon and all the billionaires to shoot themselves up for their little space trips.
Right.
All right, babe.
Right.
You're next.
So this is the Arctic temperature anomalies by rank and by month.
Wow.
So, and rank by month. So you just meditate on this. It's very easy to see what's going on. What is going on is that the seasons that are not the most extreme, like the spring and the fall, those ones especially are heating up. And that's what we see. We see the summer is really pretty much the same. The summer is the summer. It's going along. It's a little bit changed, but if the big changes
for you guys
are in the January.
Look at that.
And it's beautiful. Beautiful.
Wow.
A little smaller. There you go. Stop.
Wow.
Whoa. Beautiful. And can we get the title?
Oh, so I was just making it bigger so they could see
good.
Really close the numbers, the little numbers. Okay.
Yeah, right. So this is also our same 40-year period. And you can see that everything is getting hotter, but the springs and the falls, springs and autumn, those ones are getting hotter than the other two seasons, right? That's definitely happening. So it's interesting. There's a lot of data on this. Okay, next one.
Lone Wanderer says, yeah, turn the chart over. Turn the chart over. Let's start over. Let's start this whole thing over. Back in about what year? What year would we start over, Jennifer, so that we wouldn't be where we are now? Right when they started industrializing? Like
Well, yeah, there are a bunch
1820?
of ways to hear and answer that question.
Yeah, not that we can do it, but just it's
No,
just a
I mean it that we could do a whole show about that. So let's just
what if
we'll all
the
have
what if
different
show?
numbers.
The what if show.
Yeah, the what if show. So here we have extent and volume together on one animated chart. And you can see both the extent and the volume are pretty much tracking with each other as far as the shape of the graph. So I really put a lot more faith in volume than I do extent, but here you can see they actually are tracking together perfectly. So the point is, there's been a huge drop in both volume and extent for Arctic sea ice. Next, please.
Yeah. I couldn't think of anything to say. It is just what it is. It's stark in front of our faces.
Yeah. And this is for just like a 20-year period. We're looking at both Antarctica and Greenland. And what we can see right away is the Greenland ice loss shape of that graph. It's steeper than Antarctica because we're losing more ice still from Greenland because it's really taken off, right? Than Antarctica, which has just started to move. Over time, the Antarctica graph is going to go down
over
quite
5 years at least. We're going to see the Thwaites Glacier.
Oh yeah, and it's not going to be so gentle as it is now. It's going to start to go like that. It is going to be a different shape.
There's some really good videos out there. I think it was from the National Snow and Ice Center from Boulder.
Of course.
Yeah.
We store all of the ice cores here for the United States.
I'm hoping
I hope they don't melt in a fire.
Right. I'm telling you, I watched a piece on Democracy Now, and there was a female fire scientist, and I forgot her name, but it was a good piece. And she said some of her colleagues lost their homes, and it's just, I mean, when it starts to hit the people that are teaching us and telling us, we know it's pretty heavy duty.
No, I mean, these were just well-to-do professionals. These were not rich people. These were not poor people. These were the people that a lot of us who are in the professional world, middle class or even a little upper middle class, these are probably like IT professionals, directors, scientists, people like that.
Mortgages.
Not like wealthy people, but people who are comfortable,
Yeah. Wow. I forgot. Comfortable. I should have played something.
Yeah.
All right. Are we on? Where are we without my my negativity today?
We can move along.
Moving on.
Okay. So here is another one: Arctic temperature anomalies and rank by month. So this is the temperature, right? So this is more obvious even than the other one. You can see how hot it's getting, how quickly. As soon as we get into the 2000s, we're off to the races. Even in the 90s, there were indications, whispers of the future, that you can see this really starting to freaking take off. And what the heck? What is 2022? Right. What is 2025 going to look like? That whole thing is going to be red, right?
Oh my God.
There's no good ending to this picture. Sorry.
Okay. I can do this one again because I have so much, Yeah.
No.
All right.
So this is a still one. Yeah, this is a still one. And this is the reconstructed Arctic sea ice from the year 500. So it's reconstructed from ice cores and other things, right? Wow. So we're talking about a span of 1,500 years. So we can understand here the last 1,500 years. And look at that. It's fairly stable. it's going along, and there are dips
Mm-hmm.
and valleys, but overall, the trend is stable. And you can see in 1500, what was that, 1600? I can't even see. It was 1500. In 1500, the temperature dropped. I think there were some
Make it
Indonesian
bigger.
volcanoes. No, it's
Oh,
okay.
okay.
It's okay. That's good. No, it's nice.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Perfect.
But the point of it is, take a look what happens when we get just right now. See, it just drops off a cliff
Oh
and it ain't
yeah.
turning around. That's the whole point of this. Is like, look at life for the last 1500 years,
Mm.
and then look what's happened now. Boom. The
Down.
Arctic sea ice extent
Oh, I
is
wish I had a pointer.
dropping. You
I
see
mean
what I'm
that thing.
saying?
Yes, that big down on the 2000.
Yeah,
It's just awful.
yeah, it
And
is
nobody
awful. So
knows. Nobody knows, but there's 87 of us. Maybe there's another, point zero zero
we are
zero
the
zero
minority.
seven
This is
percent.
never going to be a totally hot topic. This is
No, but it gets buzz
you
on
want to
Twitter.
stop. You want to stop conversation at the next cocktail party you go to. Just start talking about this and see
Get your
how fast.
Well, if you go to cocktail parties, I don't leave the house. You know
Well,
what, Jennifer? We have cocktail parties every now and then, but not very often, guys. We really don't drink much.
right.
Hi, Vegematic. Yeah. Okay, he's asked that question. We all know this, but how do we take action? I had mentioned it before you weren't here about possible, it's at least in the United States, it's financially by trying to overturn Citizens United and make voting fair, if that's ever possible.
Mhm.
It's all in the money. It's all about the purse strings, honey.
Yeah.
Okay, next.
Let's move ahead. Move along. Move along.
Yes.
Oh, wait a minute. Go back.
Ooh.
Go back just a little tiny bit. Did we? No. Okay, you're right. That's it.
All
No, you're
right.
right.
Now we have
So this
one with
we are
moving
running.
parts.
We are, and this is the average sea ice extent over an extended period of time. I think. Let's wait till it
100
rolls
years.
again. I think it started around
Yeah, it's 100.
1920. Oh no, let's watch.
Okay. Yeah, let's watch.
1920. Okay,
That's
so
cool.
for the last 100 years, right? So this is
Wow.
Arctic sea ice extent over the last 100 years, and things are steady, steady, steady. There's some variation, and then boom, look at it. It hit. Now this is extent, so volume is continuing to drop. When it hits 2007, you'll see a big dip. When it hits 2012, you'll see a big dip. Boom. And anyway, so it's going down. That's the point.
Yeah. Shrinking away.
Yeah.
Shrinking away.
Okay.
Okay. Let's move on.
Oh, this is very interesting. This is a very beautiful way to pictorialize data. So the thing is, like, the thicker something or the bigger something is, the lighter the color. The less big something is, the darker the color. And we're talking about sea ice extent. So you can see the sea ice extent on the month. This has every month of every year for the last 40 years. So do the math, right? That's a lot of data represented. But you can see how it's forming a drip. And if you look at 2007, you'll see a darker blue band. If you look at 2012, you'll see a darker blue band. And then we're getting darker blue bands more recently as well. If you can see what I'm saying.
Yes, exactly. I see what you're saying. And I see what he's saying.
Yeah.
The daily Arctic sea ice extents.
Yeah, there you
and
go.
He says what? Missing data as shown in black. So there's a little bit, a little blip. See that little blip of missing data? And he controls for that. He makes these amazing graphs. He puts so much effort into it, and he does get shares on
Yeah.
Twitter. But he should be getting. I mean, thousands of people should be looking at this that understand. I mean, there are a lot, millions.
Yeah,
Every educated
absolutely.
person should be looking at these graphs to get an idea.
Yeah, totally, absolutely. Okay, so take a look at this one. You can see the red blister that's forming over time. And this is the Arctic sea ice extent anomalies. So very easy to understand. Things were still in pretty good shape, at least as far as the extent went, back in 1979,
Mm-hmm.
42 years ago. And as we go along, we just see more and more anomalous data showing up. Again, you can see the red in 2007 and also in 2012. And now it's just becoming like red in general, which is not great.
Mm-mm. No, it's not. Oh, no laughing.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to
Okay.
cry. We're all grown-ups here.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, data is
We
data.
Yep.
And this is the normalized Arctic sea ice extent. You can kind of see it's along the same way.
Mhm.
I think the normalization might take place in rooting out like the top values and the bottom values and kind of, just taking more averages or something. But I'm not entirely sure. But it is telling the same story, exactly the same story. Let's continue. Okay. Oopsie. What does this say? Arctic sea ice extent records by month.
Mhm.
And there were some record colds. Some record extents
Mhm.
back in the late 70s, 79 to be exact, and the early 80s. Then we had kind of a more stable period, but then we just, as the warmth kept setting in, things started really and now you can see there's a lot of records being set. So the record low. There are no more record high ice extents. Those are long gone and they won't be coming back either.
Oh, but wait a minute. If you listen to the Heartland Institute, there's plenty of ice. Oh my God, they're shattering records. Oh, Jennifer, the things I find online when I research for this.
I
What they
don't know.
tell, you don't, but I do. Oh my God, what these people tell. I find oddballs
Yeah,
all over the place that are telling people
let's go
that we're fine.
let's go down just a little more so we see the title.
A
There we
little
go.
more.
Sea
There we
ice
go.
thickness. Okay, we're getting into volume. Now think of the light yellow bit there as kind of the heartbeat of the Arctic. The the brighter the color, the deeper, the thicker the ice, right? And you can see if you kind of think of the yellow as like the thickest ice, the deepest ice, the heartbeat of the Arctic. Boom, look at that. None left. Check that out. Check that trend out. This
It's,
thing is just it scares the shit
wow.
out of you. And it's all because he's so brilliant with his colors. I love Zach Labe.
Yes, I'd love to have him on and get him and ask what his inspiration was. But, as he is younger,
Totally.
of course, he was technologically
Yeah.
oriented. So I'd love to just say, was this just second
And
nature
and
for you?
he is such a good communicator. I mean, what a
Yeah.
better way to
Hmm.
pictorialize the Arctic than this? This is
Than the
like
way he does.
the
Yeah.
heartbeat of the Arctic, and you can
Yeah.
just kind of see it fading away there,
We're
right?
in the Zach Labe fan club.
We are. We totally
I'd
love
say,
Zach Labe.
yeah, we do. We do.
Yeah.
I like that.
This one I can't really explain it to you. Sea ice departures.
Well, what does it say?
I'm really not
Current
sure.
year sea ice extent anomalies for the Arctic and Antarctic. Departure from average anomaly considers a 1981 to 2010 climatology. Anybody
Okay.
out there get this one? So we have the anomalies in the extent, I think, and departure from the average over the years in the Arctic and the Antarctic. And the number here is a calculation of that between those
Okay,
years.
I
Yeah.
believe you.
Yeah, it seems to me like the more, well, if I look at it like this, like I'm looking at a statistical analysis, that's what I'm looking at. Wow.
Yeah.
Because see how it says they're using here SSM and SS, that's a statistical measure tool. So
Oh,
I actually
okay.
use that but not that tool. I used SPSS
Uh,
when I did all my work at my job to analyze data. Okay.
so this is a great representation. This is sea ice volume, which I think is a more truthful
Yeah.
measure of things. Now, the gray represents the 1981 to 2010 average, and that stick going up just so you can see how far off we are from the 30-year average, right?
Look at that. Arctic sea ice volume. Yeah, that is
Yeah.
a big thing. I mean, think about it. If you can have an extent of incredible extent, but if you have no volume, what good is it? Is it really going to be
Absolutely.
reflective? I mean, yeah, we like
Yeah.
extent, but what
Well,
about, reflective?
well, volume is how much ice there is, period,
Yeah.
and
And I don't,
I think it's a better measure than
mm-hmm,
extent.
I think so.
But
I
we can see what
agree.
the trend is. Okay, let's move along, move along.
Oh, yeah, we have
Okay, so
another
these
nice
ones
one.
here, oh, go up just a little bit more so I can this is sea ice thickness. Okay, cool.
Got it?
So, yeah, this is good. So sea ice thickness that is related to volume, and you can see it's on a yearly cyclical scale
Mm-hmm.
with 2021 being represented in orange. So we can see
Wow.
it, and the purpley colors are more in the past, the white colors are more now, and the
Oh,
trend
look at
is
that.
irrevocably down to down to down to down, down,
Wow. Another
down.
important indicator. Mm. It
Yeah,
says that observations are sparse. He utilized the ocean and sea ice model from Pyomas to visualize mean sea ice thickness. So it's
yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
Wow. Right before
It
our
is.
eyes
It's
in graphs.
fascinating how you can see this happening. So, yeah, it's the 40-year period pictorialized month by month, and you can just see the trend is down overall.
Well, those were beautiful. And guess what, guys?
Mhm.
We are still not finished because there are
Yeah.
more real time Arctic products and we are
Ooh.
Arcticing it up tonight.
We
We
have to
love the
really pick and
Arctic.
choose because it's getting to be late. So let's
I
just
know.
pick one. Pick the Arctic sea ice volume and thickness, number 3.
Okay. We
And we'll
got
just
it.
go through these really quick.
All right.
And
Oh,
they're just beautiful. He just does such a nice job.
yeah. Here we go. It's under construction, but this one is under construction, but it looks pretty good to
Yeah, it's
us.
go up just a little tiny bit
A
more. Just
little
a little bit
hair.
more. There you go,
Okay.
sea ice thickness.
There we go.
So that's just beautiful. You can see this. We've seen the similar graph, right? The
Mm-hmm.
sea ice thickness is becoming less and less. There's less and less yellow.
Yeah. Yeah, it is
Boom.
similar, but it's what he did. Oh, wow. Oh, he's giving us a little bit more
This whole
yeah.
site is about this whole page is about thickness. So it goes into
Wow.
thickness, and you can see where the thickness is getting eaten away if you look at the graph over or the map over on the right.
Yep.
See where it's red?
Yeah. Yeah. Phew. One
The
year
thickness
change.
is changing quickly,
Oh,
you
look,
know?
my pointer is working.
Yeah, very good.
All of a
Most
sudden. There it is. Whoop, there it is. Let's see.
most excellent.
Most
And this
excellent.
is also more about thickness. So this is just
It's
a deep dive
working.
into thickness, and this is just pictorializing this year or last year in November. So this is how it looked
Wow.
in November
Wow.
2021, the November average.
Wow. When you look at the colors, when you think back to us, Jennifer, way back, and all these kind of graphs were just done on graph paper, and we were
Oh,
using
I
rulers
know.
and
This
putting
is
at least, yeah, for me, I made graphs the old-fashioned way. That's how I'm ancient. So this is fascinating stuff.
isn't
And
it?
yes, and to
It's
be fair,
beautiful.
the kids that are going to school and being taught by people like Zach are at an incredible advantage. And you see that with all of the younger scientists that we watch from the Ice Center. And they're just
Mhm.
all, they are amazing. They're amazing. They're amazing.
They really are. It's
And
gonna
here's
take
another one.
brighter humans than us to get through this next chapter. That
Yeah.
will be interesting. So here's
Yeah.
the April sea ice thickness. So when the ice is thickest is in April. That's at the turn of the season. So you can really see how it is. You can see the thickness and the 1 year change. The map graphic on the right is the change or the anomaly
Mm,
where the thickness is becoming more, where the thickness is becoming less. It's very interesting how it's thinning out.
yeah. He says it's only going to be updated between September and April when the satellite estimates of sea ice thickness are available. Ha ha, I love it. Knowing, even learning how he makes
Uh-huh.
them. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Can you see this one? Got this one?
Uh-huh. And
All
this is the
right.
volume. This one we've seen before. He included it
Oh,
again
yeah.
in his
Okay.
thickness
All right.
page,
And
so we've already studied that.
looks like we've
And this
seen them.
one, we've already studied that. We've
And
we've
how about this one?
we've
This one
studied
looks,
this one. This
oh,
one
yeah,
we've
we saw it.
studied.
All right. So we're pretty
Yeah.
much ready to move on to the Arctic
Yeah.
news then.
I
All right,
think
let's
that we
move
have
on.
time to just blast through that one, Sandy.
Which one? Arctic news?
Some
Absolutely.
Arctic
You had
news.
the methane. We have to. We have
Yeah,
to. We've got enough
absolutely.
time. We've got enough time to do your
Okay.
methane, and
I bet yeah.
hopefully this comes up.
Okay, great. Well, I think everybody here knows that methane
It's
is a
not
huge
coming up.
danger.
Yeah.
Oopsie. Well, I'm on my page, so I'm
All
not
right.
really looking at you.
I know. I'm gonna have to refresh that page. All right, guys. I'm refreshing it.
Mm. All right. Well, I'll
Up.
begin anyway.
That's all it needed. A little
Okay.
refresh. That's
Good.
it.
So this came out in December of last year, and methane, the highs, it's a little bit counterintuitive, but not really so much. The methane peaks in the winter time. So what they're seeing is that this year, this winter, in the Arctic, the methane is peaking, and a peak methane level of 3026 parts per billion was recorded by a satellite at
Mm,
469 millibars on December 11th. So, what we can see when we look at this methane map,
mm-hmm.
pink is above 2000. And you can see the northern hemisphere, the gray, it just means for some reason there's no sampling data for that. It doesn't mean that there was nothing.
Right, of
It just means
course.
but
Mm-hmm.
they were able to pick up all this pink. So basically, the northern hemisphere is becoming pretty drenched in methane at over 3,000 parts per billion, which is a
Jesus.
big change.
I, I
And
I wonder if
yeah,
there's illnesses now that are being recorded, and not as COVID, but
mm,
illnesses directly related to the increase in methane for the people that are living up there. You know,
well,
I'd be interested for the
I'd
indigenous
like
people.
to kind of put that in perspective.
Okay.
This is such a small, minute portion of methane,
Mm-hmm.
3,000 parts per billion. See, you got a billion, and
Yep.
of that billion, 3,000 parts. So
Yep.
it is almost immeasurable. A human being wouldn't, to my mind, be reacting to that
Okay.
low level
All right.
of proportion of
That's a
methane.
good thing. Then that's a good thing. Thank you,
But
Jennifer, for
what does
clarifying.
react, right. So you don't worry about oxygen all going away and just breathing
Well, not
methane.
that.
That's not going to happen.
It was more like I just wonder if there's an increase in respiratory up there. You've made me feel pretty calm about that part.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's one thing you don't have to freak out about. But what might be interesting, if you're interested in freaking out, is to
Thank you.
understand how the temperature reacts to this methane. And essentially, methane is an instantaneous heating agent. And initially, when it first comes out, it's at a very high concentration as compared to carbon dioxide about its heating potential, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when it first is emitted from the permafrost, which would be now, right?
Mm-hmm.
If it just like is coming out from beavers.
Right? Okay. The beaver dams.
God! And then, if it kind of enough of this methane comes out fast enough, it can tip the balance in favor of more heating and more feedbacks because it's coming out so quickly and heating instantaneously. Unlike carbon dioxide, it doesn't take 10 to 15 to 20 years to reach its heating potential. No.
Look who's with us.
Who?
Sam Carana, the mysterious one. Hello. Yes.
How do you know?
Because he just came in and said, hi, all, and it's his logo from the page. Or their logo or hers or whoever you are, thank you.
Well, Sam Carana knows that I'm a big fan of them, I will just say.
Yeah.
Whatever you may be, I'm a big fan of you.
Right.
All.
Right.
All right.
Right.
Let us get back before
we were. Let's get back.
All right. So that's the point. The point is there's so much methane being emitted, and we have the potential because of the methane stores that are resident in the Laptev Sea, in the East Siberian Sea, in the Chukchi Sea, all around, but mostly along the Siberian edge, right? Where that Siberian platform is recently submerged permafrost. And when I say recently, I mean within the last 10,000 years since the sea level rise started, right?
Wow.
But there's just so much vegetable matter and methane hydrate. Consequently, there's a huge danger of this becoming, and I think bomb may be a misnomer, because when we think of bomb, we think of an explosion.
Sure.
And what we're really talking about when we say the methane bomb, while there may be explosive parts to it, there, as we have seen in the Yamal Peninsula with the methane craters, etc.
Right.
It just means like there's a lot of methane coming out really fast, and we have a potential of more methane coming out than is coming out now. So that's what it is. It's a huge tip in the scale towards more global warming.
Ooh, tipping the scale. Absolutely. Would you like me to go down more on this page?
Yeah.
Where are we going? The recent
let
monthly
me go
average?
Let me look at you. Okay, there we go.
How's that?
So here we can just see that methane is going up, and the highest methane, has peaks and valleys. And we see that the highest the methane is in the winter. That's when the methane is emitted the most. It has a cycle, as you can see. That's all that's saying.
Right. Okay. All right. And we have because it's time to calm ourselves down a little bit from all of the upset of the
You're
evening.
probably right. You're probably right.
Yes. And so recent daily average carbon dioxide levels were very high at Barrow.
Oh.
Wow. See how they go. And it's all from the NOAA, all the data, carbon dioxide. And I don't know how to read that actual measurement here, the CO2 and carbon. But
well, it's just a scatter graph, and you can just see that the point is the trend, and the trend is up. Maybe
up.
just infinitesimally up, but on an annual basis, each peak is higher than the year before, and that is
Yeah.
evident,
What
right?
causes these terrifying methane levels? Go for it.
Oh, okay. Very good. Hang on just a second.
Pull it up and you can read. This is cool.
Yeah, what causes these terrifying methane levels? As the combination image below shows, sea surface temperature in North Svalbard was as high as 4.3 C,
Wow.
or 39.74 degrees Fahrenheit in the green circle on the left panel, in case you wanted
Okay.
to know. And that was on December 12th. And there was as much as 5 C or 9 degrees Fahrenheit in the green circle on the right panel. So the point of it is things are getting hotter,
Mm.
and they will continue to get hotter. And it is a trend, and it
Mm-hmm.
is a trend that is not showing any derivation from that pattern. And he also says, as temperatures in the Arctic keep rising faster than elsewhere in the world, the jet stream gets ever more distorted. And we've been seeing that and the effects of that,
Yeah.
right, guys? The image on the right shows a heavily distorted jet stream covering most of northern hemisphere on December 13th of 2021. And the sea
To see.
surface temperature off the coast of North America was as much as 10.7 C, higher than
Mm.
in the 40-year average
Well,
or 30-year average of 1981 to 2011. So, this is the data to support the heating. At times, this can lead to very strong winds. Ha ha! We were just talking about winds
oh
yesterday,
my
weren't we?
gosh. You lived through
Exactly.
it.
Exactly. And
You
when he
lived
says
through
very
this.
strong winds, we mean very strong winds. And when you get that barrier, between the hot and the cold, the cold drip of the jet stream and the
Yep.
Arctic air coming down in your head, it can happen in a really violent fashion,
Wow. Wow.
especially when there are mountains involved, right? You get downslope winds of 115 miles an hour, as has been evidenced 4 days ago in Boulder, Colorado, right?
Yes.
Um,
Absolutely.
continuing on the image on the right, that's the blue one, is a forecast for December 14th, so it was last month, showing strong wind causing waves as high as 8.3 meters. That's 27 feet on the coast of Norway. I mean, that's going to break up any sort of ice, isn't that? You know?
Yes.
So that's just extreme agitation. And it sped up the flow of warm water as it dives underneath the sea ice north of Svalbard. So that's where the Gulf Stream and the AMOC make its turn and goes, supposedly is supposed to cool there, go down this cliff
Mm-hmm.
and go under the ocean, but things can disturb that. Huge amounts of heat can thus move into the Arctic Ocean, driven by ocean currents and temperature differences. The
Mm.
danger is that warmer water will cause methane to erupt from the seafloor of the Arctic Ocean, as an earlier post warned. There's
Okay.
just huge, giant methane hydrate deposits throughout the East Siberian Arctic
Yeah.
Shelf. And as these methane deposits warm up, they thaw and they erupt, as methane is wont to do, as that's its behavior, right?
So, what do you say? Are we going? We going? This is a long page. Would you like to
Mhm.
continue, or should we wrap it up and tell everybody to look at the
Oh,
show
yeah,
notes? What's up to
that's
you?
true. No, you're
How you doing out
absolutely
there?
right.
We've got
You're
102 people
absolutely right.
watching. Well, we've got 102 people with us, and it is an interesting topic. Let me know, Jennifer, where would you like to go?
I want to go down to the ice thickness with the purple. It's an animated thing. Let me see what you're looking at. Make sure
how far down?
the same thing.
The importance of
Go
methane.
Go down.
Oh, there's a lot of stuff here.
No,
oh,
go
well,
up. Go up.
That's okay. We'll just make you all dizzy.
There's just one paragraph I want to read because this is a whole course in methane. People, go into this article and keep going up.
All right. Sorry, guys.
This is a lesson in methane. Up.
Oh,
if you're interested in methane, this is stop. There, right.
There it is. Woohoo.
Stop.
Got it. Yay.
Okay. Let me go into this and then we will call it good.
Yeah.
So it's really important to talk about the buffer. The buffer that the sea ice provides as a stabilizing factor for the methane. That's the entire point of this. And once the sea ice goes, the methane is free to come out and the Arctic Sea ocean will get hotter. Sea ice used to act as a buffer by consuming energy in the process of melting, thus avoiding that this energy could raise the temperature of the Arctic Ocean. So as this image indicates, the buffer is now virtually disappeared. So the sea ice is the only thing keeping the Arctic Ocean at a steady temperature, stabilizing it right around the freezing barrier. So then consequently, the sea ice is going to get thinner and even less sea ice can act as a buffer. So this is an important concept just to understand why everybody is freaking out on the sea ice volume and the sea ice extent in the Arctic Ocean.
Right, you are.
That's the whole reason. That's the point of the whole thing. And then go ahead and read the rest of this thing. Oh my God, they've gone crazy in this article. So go ahead, and those of you who are Arctic methane scholars, this is a wonderful article to read. The link will be in the show notes.
Yes, it will. What a night. What a night. I want to see if there's any, we have some new people that are with us. Hi, Bongo Dave. I see you in other chats. I'm really happy you're here. And Jack and a few, Damon, Kendall, some new people. Thank you for joining in. There was someone earlier, but I don't know if I didn't clip the Bill says Bill says the changing jet stream scares the living hell out of me as the temperature increases. Paul Beckwith knows how bad it's getting. Yeah, he does.
Absolutely.
And he lives with it, and he does. They his kids are going to school, they're going to college, and you live. People are talking about what to do. Well, there's a lot of the solution people out there with all kinds of things going on. And I said earlier about the political thing, if you could get money out of politics, but it's global, guys. It's a global issue. So if you liked our show, please like and subscribe. There you go. I'm going to put it up on top of us. Like and subscribe. We really enjoyed having you guys. Hi, Stacy from Sydney. Sorry, Sydney from the Finger Lakes. Oh, that's not that far. Finger Lakes are beautiful. And Jen, what would you like to end with?
I think the Arctic is a fascinating thing to study, and I think we should all become Arctic scholars and learn why it is the Arctic that we focus on so much and how it affects the entire Earth.
It does. It does. It affects the entire Earth. And it affects us because we're consumed with it somewhat. You couldn't tell. All right. Well, thank you everyone for coming. I will give you all in the chat the applause. James and Anthony and oh wow. Somebody all of a sudden said to Beaver. Tell me you didn't go and make a new YouTube YouTube name to beaver because we were talking about the beaver dams in the Arctic. That's pretty funny. Yes, it was the Environmental Coffee House Beaver Night. All right. Beavers. Female, male, Thank you, Hunter. Okay. And I'm putting up the good night video and the good night music. And we love you. And we'll see you again soon. All right.